Sure.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, it took me some time being a movement teacher myself to actually step into that space, because I kept thinking, oh, I know this, I know most of the stuff, like the stuff with the body and whatnot. But when I had it started sinking in around the second month, when I had a migraine, and I was having this. I couldn't calm my mind, and there was like a whole lot of jumbling that was happening. And there was, I think, it also comes with the field of within the space of being anxious, because you're going to, like, you're getting this aura, or you're getting, like, this pounding headache on one side. And I remember stepping into the living room, and I thought I'm not going to take any medication, and my daughter was sitting there. I just stood still. I didn't even realize I think somewhere I had absorbed what I was doing only on alternate days, and half of it was not even, like, like completely being there. I just stood still, and I was breathing, and I was rooting myself, and I was grounding myself. I didn't realize. And my daughter, when I opened my eyes, my daughter said, you just stood like that for 25 minutes. And that was a big thing for me. That was a big, huge thing. And I could feel settling. I could feel that calming down with the head, especially with the thoughts that were getting all over the place. Yeah. And I remember very clearly around the second month, I slowly started saying, okay, I need to get into this space with more awareness.
Awesome. And the migraine kind of went away.
It kind of settled. I didn't have to take a medication. I went into open air, and then, like, started pacing slowly. So it was just the beginning of, for me, like, if it goes past, most of the times I try not to take medication, but it just goes past. It goes past that thing, and I start throwing up, and I have to, like, sometimes one whole day is gone. And yeah, it settled. I went out for a very slow walk. I was out in the open, and I could breathe properly without. So yeah, I needed to bring that down, and for that, sometimes it's not so simple, but sometimes things like this make it very simple. Being aware, and then going back to rooting and seeing what's happening with myself was quite helpful. Yeah.
Amazing. And this happened, it took you some time, right?
It took me some time. It took me a couple of months, because I came into the classes because I knew I had to work on myself in a different way. I needed to kind of slow down and bring in that element of softness in my own practice as well. Though I am a yoga teacher, and then I don't practice, I practice more the physical form. The theory part of it, I'm aware. The practical part of it has taken me a long time. I mean, it is a growth, it's an evolution for me as well. But then I work with other modalities which are more physical, and I'm working more on alignment and whatnot. But I knew that I had to work with my head space as well for a lot of things. And also, like, I was going through menopause, and I had to calm myself. I had to be more aware and not get overwhelmed, because there was a lot of overwhelming that was happening. It was all new. So that's the reason I walked in, and I knew I needed a teacher. I needed to be guided, and that's something that I was not doing myself. So I could sit down and do it, I was not doing. So I wanted to step into a class and then go through that. And that's how I saw your. I think you posted for classes on social media. So that's how I saw it. And then I said, oh, it's another modality. So I love all kinds of movement. I've tried everything, I think. So I said, oh, let me try it. So that's how I walked in. But then the first few months was like, what is this? I have to, and I was expecting, I thought, I kept thinking, oh, it's going to be all these fancy moves that they do. I was expecting that. So it was like a bit of a, I had to really like, I had to be aware and I had to come into that space and then move on. So when I finally finished those 6 months of classes, it's 6 months, right, Sonika, or 5 months? Yeah.
6 months.
So yeah, so when I came into that movement practice itself, and I knew it's not as simple as it seems. There's so much of work that needs to be done to move to this space. Because if you were to do it, it will just be like a physical movement, like any other physical movement. If you were not in that space, so yeah, then I got it.
Fantastic. Yes. So happy
It's
that.
still a lot of work. I know that it's a lot of work. It's not getting that body and mind together. It is in your. I think I'm used to yoga, so I can, when I come onto the mat, I know, like, I'm in that space. But it's not. It is different. It is also different, though it is the same concept of mind, body, and working with the energies.
Hmm. And now you're keen to repeat the
I'm keen to
11.
repeat. I'm keen to repeat because I think I was not fully present with the first one, and I want to ground myself because I saw the kind of um, difference that it made in, as I was going through the practice more mindfully, with more awareness, with more. I embraced it. I think I embraced it, and that made a lot of difference. And I think now it is really, I'm able to, when something is tipping, I'm able to bring myself in with whatever I've learned. So, and I also know that I did not go through it. The first couple of months, I did not go through it. I was like, oh, okay, no, okay, I have to stand still. I have to, that was happening. But now I come with, like, I come looking forward to it.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
And despite the fact that you missed the retreats,
yeah,
and we have not met in person, and you've been doing this online, and I've always heard people being very skeptical about being online. So, even though when I tell them that I hold you guys in my energy circle and I watch you, even though everyone's eyes are closed and we are working and you follow my voice, um, yeah, how it worked well for you,
it
right?
works. It works. It works amazingly. It works. You feel, one. I think we have to be open to receive. And once you are, like, it happens. I feel it works so well. It works. I mean, it's very convenient also. Yes, nothing like meeting in person, but it's working for me. And I'm sure, like, all the students who've been with you, it's worked for them, and that's why they're there. So yeah, it works.
Yes.
It works. You can feel it. You can, I mean,
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
I've seen it.
I definitely, it's like not being out in the mat world, traveling towards for the class, then traveling after being in that space, traveling again, back through the city, town to your home place, getting involved. You kind of like step out, but this is like as if your home zone is converted, that entire space get converted with your practice, with your energy. That's what I find very amazing. And you are a lot more restful, I think, in that
Yeah,
space.
true. Very true.
Hmm.
Very true.
Yes. And how is your father, Sree?
Oh, my father is fine, because I was worried I was leaving that night. I was just thinking yesterday, I didn't even, like, post about, father is good. Father is fine. He's back
Great.
to is back to normal.
It's
I took
amazing how we all got together for the
I know,
evening meditation, and then the chi healing happened.
I know.
And you said that you're worried because of your father,
Uh,
and
yeah,
everyone's experience was beautiful.
yeah, it was because I mean, I think the way it went, it was so organic. But yet at the same time, I think I was actually so grateful. That night before leaving, I spoke to him. And he was like, "No, I'm fine. Like, I'm actually feeling so much better." And I said, "Daddy, we actually did, and I've been doing Tai Chi classes and like, we did this." And he was like, "Oh, really?" And dad and mom are quite spiritual. I think dad
Uh-huh.
can articulate more than mom. But he was like, he was very eager to know, "Oh, what did you do?" and all this stuff. So I was telling him this, and it was like, "Oh, very nice." And when he was younger, he used to do a lot of yoga when he
Mm-hmm.
was younger. But now, but he's very calm. He doesn't get perturbed. Then he doesn't. He doesn't actually. But in some ways, I think he also bottles up a lot of stuff. But he has been having these respiratory attacks, and if they go unattended, then it becomes like he's been in ICU and stuff like that. But also he has something called Addison's. Um, Addison's is when your adrenals don't produce enough cortisol. I mean, cortisol, too much of cortisol is very bad, but too less can be life threatening, and dad has got that. Dad has got, because his cortisol levels were quite life threatening. They were so low when it was discovered, and we took him into ICU thinking it was stroke, but it turned out to be, after a lot of tests, when he came out of the hospital after 10 days or so, we realized it was Addison's. He was treated for something else, and then that's been like, so he has to take these medications without fail. But then he also has this thing, like he picked up BP only when he was 76 or 77. That's when and even then he doesn't take the medication so regularly. So we have to keep telling him, we have to keep an eye on it. And then suddenly we also know, like, okay, if something is getting aggravated, because his cortisol levels are also like life-threateningly low. So that happened but the minute I went home, and then I kept asking, he was disoriented. And then I said, "It doesn't matter. You take this. You have a respiratory attack, but you also take the medicine for Addison's." And then he settled. He settled, so we knew. And then we had to call the doctor and stuff like that. But yeah, it happens with him. That's the thing.
Mm. And what you can do is, if he's open and receptive, you can teach him the Mingmen,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
opening of the Mingmen, because that directly affects the kidney and the adrenals and the heart.
Yeah.
So
So
he
does
doesn't
he
have to
have to
go
like
down.
have to
He
go
doesn't
down?
have to go. He doesn't have to go down so much. Only what is possible for him, and he can take support of a table which is at 3 feet, or a good. I mean, like a dining table is normally 3 feet, so he can rest his hands on it. But the idea is that he takes his mind to the Mingman and breathe through it. So he has
Yeah.
to learn how to breathe through it.
Okay.
So, and then slowly he will find his body opening, that kidney channels opening. So, that works for him.
And so, okay.
See if he's open to it. He can do that.
He's quite open, and that is
Yeah.
quite, because whenever
But
I go,
it's not about bending, it's about taking your mind there to that. Yeah. So even if he, like I said, 3 feet is very normal. And if he can go below than that, then he can, on the chair, he can place cushions, and then slowly, as his body opens up, he can remove one cushion after the other.
okay,
So, depending upon how low he is able to go,
okay, yeah,
it'll open up. If he does this 20 minutes every day in the morning, his entire system will settle down.
okay. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Sree. Thank you so much.
Hopefully, thank you.